Welcome to Principal Chan's free tutorial world. Today we're going to talk about how to introduce reasons in writing 2. At the end of the lesson, students will be able to write reasons in a number of ways. 上一課有提過寫 reason 嘅句型，今次我哋會繼續教常見嘅錯誤。To start the lesson, we're going to introduce some of the ways that we can introduce reasons into our sentences. Let's start with the first sentence. Judy was absent since she was ill. Judy was absent as she was ill. Judy was absent because she was ill. Judy was absent for she was ill. Let's do this next sentence. Judy was absent because of her illness. Judy was absent owing to her illness. Judy was absent on an account of her illness. Let's take a look at the third sentence. Judy's absence was due to her illness. Judy's absence was caused by her illness. The fourth sentence. Judy was absent for being ill. And the last sentence. The reason of Judy's absence was her illness. The cause of Judy's absence was her illness. Now that we have taken a look of a few ways how to introduce reasons into a sentence, let's do some exercise. For our task number 1, proofread the following sentences and rewrite them with the correct grammar. Let's take a look at question number 1. For I didn't want to put on weight, I gave up pork and beef. Number 2. It was raining because the football match was postponed. Number 3. The football match was postponed because of it was raining. Number 4. Eric failed was due to his laziness. Number 5. Eric's failure was due to he was lazy. Number 6. The student was scolded for late. Number 7. Being a hot day, Johnson drank a lot of iced lemon tea. Now, let's copy all these sentences and write it on the paper. And then you can proofread the sentences on your paper, and the answers will be given to you on the next slide. So please take a few minutes and pause this video, and we'll start again. Now, let's take a look at the answers for question number 1. For I didn't want to put on weight, I gave up pork and beef. You can use as or since at the beginning of the sentence to introduce a reason, such as I didn't want to put on weight, I gave up pork and beef. Since I didn't want to put on weight, I gave up pork and beef. Let's take at number 2. It was raining because the football match was postponed. Actually, there's a small error where you should put the reason behind rather than before. So therefore, it should be written as, the football match was postponed because it was raining. Number 3. The football match was postponed because of it was raining. Now there's a small error at the end. Using the because of form of introducing the reasons is actually correct. However, when you're using because of, at the end it should be a noun. Therefore, it should not be a phrase of it was raining. It should be the football match was postponed because of the rain. Number 4. Eric failed due to his laziness. Now, there's a few ways to correct this. It's not entirely incorrect. However, it's a small detail that is incorrect. For example, you should write, Eric failed due to his laziness. Eric's failure was due to he was lazy. Eric's failure was due to his laziness. So due to is actually quite versatile in terms of how you can use it. However, when you are introducing it with a verb which is failed, it should be introduced as a noun due to his laziness instead of due to he was lazy. The next one, which is Eric's failure, is actually a noun. So therefore, when you put is Eric's failure was due to he was lazy, you can actually put whichever way you want. You can put he was lazy, which is a verb phrase, or due to his laziness, introduced as a noun. That will work either. Number 5. The student was scolded for late. Now, because for you have to put a phrase behind it, so therefore it should be the student was scolded for being late. Number 6. Being a hot day, Johnson drank a lot of iced lemon tea. Now, this can be changed a little bit to be a better phrase. It's being a hot day, Johnson drank a lot of iced lemon tea. Now that we have done one exercise already, let's do exercise number 2. Read the following article and answer the questions that follow. Working for a cause. Driven by the fervor to help people in need, Dr. Albert Ko Wing-in, an engineer, gave up his job to volunteer in third world countries. He now wants to pass on his vision to youngsters. You may not be able to change society, but this does not mean you cannot do something for it. Dr. Albert Ko Wing-yin gave up his well-paid job as a mechanical engineer to serve as a volunteer and engineer with medical and humanitarian aid organization Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctor Without Borders. He has taken a break from the frontline service and is spending time in Hong Kong promoting the concept of emergency engineering and sharing his experiences at schools. Ko only has one purpose: to inspire more people to use their skills to help others. Helping others. Ko had nursed the dream to serve as a volunteer since a young age. Like many others, I participated in volunteering activities when I was at university in the United States. It was then that I developed an interest in volunteering, he said. After graduating from the university, he worked in Taiwan and Japan. Young men in Taiwan and Japan need to serve in the military for 2 years. This inspired me to serve as a frontline and active volunteer for 2 years, he said. Ko returned to Hong Kong from Japan in 1999. The same year, Médecins Sans Frontières won a Nobel Peace Prize for its pioneering humanitarian work on several continents. It proved to be a turning point for Ko. He found out that apart from doctors and nurses, the humanitarian organization was also in need of engineers. I always wanted to use my expertise to help others. This was a good opportunity for me, he said. Thereafter, he resigned from his job as a mechanical engineer at a ship repair yard and joined Médecins Sans Frontières volunteer task force. As the places we worked in were highly dangerous, I was trained at the organization's headquarters in Belgium for 2 weeks before formally joining the volunteer team, he said. Multifunctional engineer. In 2000, Ko was assigned to serve in Sudan. What purpose did an engineer serve there? He had to perform all non-medical rescue tasks. He was required to build and renovate medical centers, water and electricity supplies, and telecommunications equipment, as well as perform security tasks. He was also responsible for allocating job tasks and wage release. Ko said, besides direct medical aid, helping with construction work can help improve the living quality of the people in need. For instance, in countries such as Sudan and Pakistan, all roads are made of rough brick-red clay. If volunteers can help according to their needs, for example, engineers can build bridges and pave roads, this also benefits aid organizations as they can easily transport resources and goods. Life as a volunteer. Ko has worked in many places as a volunteer. When asked if he ever felt that his life was in danger, he said, "Each place has its potential danger. I had understood this even before I joined the volunteer service. That is why we need to be trained, so that risks can be minimized. Furthermore, I only wanted to help people when I arrived at a place. I could not afford to think of personal safety. An incident that Ko vividly remembers is the 2005 tsunami had ravaged Indonesia. He recalled that there were frequent aftershocks after the tsunami, but the rescue mission could not be delayed or called off. In case of an earthquake, volunteers were told to step outside the building they were working in. Another experience from his active volunteering days that he remembers is working in earthquake-hit Sichuan, China in 2008. Because we could communicate in the same language and I participated in all volunteer services, including transportation of resources and goods and reconstruction, I felt touched. Furthering the vision, Ko returned to Hong Kong in 2002 to promote emergency engineering. He facilitated a collaboration between Médecins Sans Frontières and the Hong Kong Institution of Engineers to organize courses, set up volunteer teams, and introduce the concept of emergency robots in schools. At the moment, Ko wants to take a longer break from frontline volunteering work. He hopes to encourage and inspire more youngsters to volunteer. According to Ko, compassion is not enough to help people in need. One also needs to understand their needs and keep a cool head. He added that charity services can be interesting if one can add some creativity to them. He used a personal example to demonstrate how he creatively raised funds for Médecins Sans Frontières. He spent 30 days riding a bicycle from Xining, Qinghai to Tibet, raising more than 200,000 for his organization. He even wrote a book on his journey. He also donated the book's royalty to the charity organization. The great sense of satisfaction of doing volunteer work in the developing world stems not from the gratitude that tearful victims show, but from benefits such as medical aid, food, water, and shelter that injured and other people in trouble received because of the volunteers, Ko said. Now that I've finished the story from above, now let's write your answers in complete sentences. Question 1. Why does Ko share his experience at school? Number 2. What made Ko like to use his expertise to help others? Number 3. What duties did Ko have to perform when he was in Sudan? Number 4. What are the benefits if volunteers help according to the need of people in Sudan and Pakistan? Number 5. Why must Dr. Ko to be trained at the organization's headquarters in Belgium for 2 weeks before formally joining the volunteer team? Now, let's copy all the questions that we have right now and onto a piece of paper, and then let's answer them with the information that was given in the story above. You can go back to several minutes ago and you'll be able to check the different sections of the story. Now, let's take a few minutes to complete this. And you can pause this video to complete this exercise and before going to the answers. Answers. For question number 1, you can answer as such. Ko shares his experience at school because he wants to inspire more people to use their skills to help others. Number 2, Médecins Sans Frontières won a Nobel Peace Prize, and he found out that apart from doctors and nurses, the humanitarian organization was also in need of engineers. These factors make Ko would like to use his expertise to help others. Number 3, he had to build and renovate medical centers, water and electricity supplies, and telecommunications equipment, as well as perform security tasks. He was also responsible for allocating job tasks and wage release. Number 4, if volunteers can help according to their needs, for example, engineers can build bridges and pave roads, this also benefits aid organizations as they can easily transport resources and goods. Number 5, each place has its potential danger, and he needs to be trained so that risks can be minimized. The following exercise will need you to give reasons. For example, when you express your opinions, you should provide reasons for them. Read the following opinions Think of reasons to support these opinions. Write them in the spaces provided. You can also copy the below questions on a piece of paper so that you can work on them for several minutes. I'll read off the different questions before we can pause the video. Question number 1. Soft drinks are bad for your health. Number 2. Hong Kong is a really unhealthy place to live. Number 3. In my opinion, many students in Hong Kong do not get enough sleep. Number 4. Chinese New Year is not a good time to go on holidays. Number 5. I think that fish are the best kind of pet. Now, you can pause this video so that you can work on these questions. In the meantime, we'll go to the answers right after. Take your time. Here are the suggested answers. For number 1, soft drinks are bad for your health. You can say, this is because you may easily get health problems such as obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Number 2, Hong Kong is a really unhealthy place to live. You can write, as the political skirmishes have caused some instability in the economy. Number 3, in my opinion, many students in Hong Kong do not get enough sleep. You can say because they have a lot of work to do from the school. Number 4, Chinese New Year is not a good time to go on holiday. You can say due to the high peak season charges in the traveling expenses. Number 5, I think that fish are the best kind of pet. You can say since it does not take up a lot of space in the house. And this is everything for how to introduce reasons in writing 2. Thank you for joining us today. I hope to see you next time. Happy learning!